story of the Cheshire murders. In many ways, the Pettit family was the perfect example of an all-American family. They were capable of accomplishing anything they set their minds to. On July 23, 2007, however, evil invaded the Pettit family's lives and changed everyone who lived in their beautiful neighborhood of Cheshire, Connecticut. There are several reasons why the town of Cheshire, Connecticut is one of the most affluent in the United States. For a number of years, Money magazine has ranked it among the most desirable places to live. It was like living in a fairy tale. But fairy tales can be a bit unsettling sometimes, and villains lurk behind every dark corner, ready to exploit the innocents. On July 23, 2007, the residents of Cheshire were invaded by evil. Together with their daughters Hayley and Michaela, Jennifer and Bill Petit lived in Cheshire. Dr. William Pettit was a prominent endocrinologist who was deeply committed to his career. Some days he worked 12-hour shifts, which then evolved to 7 days a week. Jennifer, his wife, was a nurse and the co-director of the health center at Cheshire Academy, a local private boarding school. It didn't matter what time of the day or night it was. If a student was ill, Jennifer was always at their bedside. Several of her students considered her a second mother. The couple met in 1981 at the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. Jennifer told friends she had never met an intelligent person like Bill. There was no doubt that Bill felt the same way about Jennifer, but he was too nervous to ask her out on an actual date. The two had spent many hours talking and had formed a friendship before Bill asked Jennifer out. She readily agreed. In 1984, the couple married in a historic church in Pennsylvania. Bill's father was a minister and conducted the ceremony. The couple moved to Cheshire, Connecticut 4 years after getting married. Cheshire appealed to them because of its quiet and homely atmosphere. There was a quaint downtown area and many nature trails around the town, making it the ideal place for the health-conscious Pettit family to enjoy walks in nature. Faith was one of the most significant aspects of the Pettit family's life. They attended Mass every Sunday at the United Methodist Church in their area. Their church was meaningful to the Pettit family, and they were all very active within the community. In addition to teaching Sunday school, Jennifer sang in the choir and organized fundraisers for the church. Their first daughter, Hayley, was born in 1989. Hayley had just graduated from high school and was planning to attend Dartmouth College in the fall. After completing her bachelor's degree, she wanted to follow in her father's footsteps by attending medical school. Hayley wanted to become a medical professional for several other reasons. Her mother, Jennifer, had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and Hayley was inspired to find a cure. While in high school, Hayley started a walking team named Hayley's Hope. The team participated in various fundraising events to help raise money in order to find a cure for the debilitating disease. In 1995, Michaela was born to Jennifer and Bill, the youngest of their children. Michaela was thrilled that Hayley was off to college, although she would miss her big sister. Michaela was planning to take over Hayley's Hope as team captain in her absence. Since Hayley was going to be away at school, Michaela planned on changing the team's name to Michaela's Miracle. For the Pettit family, July 22nd was a typical summer day in 2007. Jennifer had taken Michaela to the grocery store to pick up dinner ingredients. Michaela was an excellent cook, and she was passionate about it. While shopping for groceries, they were unaware that a dangerous criminal was watching them closely. After a troubled childhood and a lack of psychiatric treatment, Josh Komierajewski became a very disturbed young man. Joshua was given up for adoption by his teenage parents in 1980, and Benedict Komierajewski and Jude Komierajewski adopted him. In the 1990s, his adopted sister accused Joshua of inappropriately touching her. Because of their strong religious beliefs, the Komierajewski family refused to seek psychological help for Joshua. The troubled young man watched from the shadows of the parking lot as Jennifer and Michaela loaded up their vehicle and drove away. After Jennifer turned onto the street, Joshua started his car and followed her home. It was evident from the exterior of the Pettit's home that they were wealthy. As Jennifer and Michaela unloaded their car and brought their bags inside, Joshua secretly imagined what it must be like to live there. Aside from wanting to get into the house, Joshua also wanted to get his hands on the family's money. It wasn't just their money that Joshua wanted, he wanted Michaela. She attracted his attention very much. Joshua recruited another criminal to assist him in breaking into a house in a town as prestigious as Cheshire. Knowing that this could be a problematic hit, he called Stephen Hayes. Stephen and Joshua met at a halfway house after they were released from prison. Since Stephen had been incarcerated 30 times since he was 16, Joshua found him to be an ideal criminal partner. Stephen and Joshua exchanged several texts throughout the night, expressing their excitement about burglarizing the home. The plan was for Stephen and Joshua to break into the house after sunset, tie up the family, and rob the place. While Stephen and Joshua originally planned to keep the Pettit family alive, their plans changed somewhere along the way. It was as usual in the Pettit household on this particular evening. After a busy day, the family settled in for the evening. Hayley retired to her bedroom, and Bill fell asleep on the couch in the living room while watching television. In the last moments of their lives, Jennifer and Michaela cuddled up in bed to read a book. Before sunrise on July 23, 2007, Stephen and Joshua entered the unlocked basement door of the sleeping family. Wearing masks and gloves, they climbed the stairs in the basement. Joshua approached Bill, who was sleeping on the couch, with a baseball bat he had found lying against the wall near the stairs. Joshua hit Bill 5 times in the head with a heavy bat. After Bill was unconscious, he was bound with plastic zip ties and dragged down the basement stairs. He was tied to a wooden post, and a pillowcase was placed over his head. Stephen and Joshua made their way upstairs to where the girls slept, confident that Bill wouldn't be a problem. Stephen and Joshua found Jennifer, Michaela, and Hayley upstairs. They tied Jennifer, Michaela, and Hayley to their beds, ransacked the house, and drank Jennifer's and Michaela's liquor. Their frustration grew as they couldn't find anything valuable to steal from the house. They wanted to make large sums of money, not steal electronics and furniture. Everything changed for the Pettit family when Stephen and Joshua discovered Bill's checkbook. Bill had a $40,000 balance in his checking account. The revised plan was for Stephen to drive Jennifer to the bank when it opened so she could withdraw $15,000. Before Stephen took Jennifer to the bank, he filled up 2 gas cans he had taken from the Pettit's garage. According to gas station surveillance footage, Stephen filled the cans with $10 worth of gas around 7 o'clock a.m. Stephen drove Jennifer to the bank at 9 o'clock a.m., where she entered alone while he waited in the car. Jennifer approached the teller and requested a withdrawal of $15,000. Despite Jennifer's best efforts, the teller could only complete this transaction with Bill present. Jennifer confided in the teller that her husband and daughters were being held hostage by 2 violent men. She told the teller that if she returned with the money they asked for, the 2 men wouldn't hurt her or her children. There was nothing the bank could do to help her. Having been unable to get help, Jennifer left the bank, fearing the fate of her family. When Jennifer ran out of the bank, the manager called 911. Jennifer and Stephen returned home minutes before the Cheshire police arrived. There was no attempt by the police to contact or approach any of the family members. As Joshua and Jennifer walked back into the house, Joshua nervously pulled Stephen aside and told him they had a problem. During Stephen's drive to the bank, Joshua sexually assaulted 11-year-old Michaela, leaving his DNA behind. When Stephen heard the news, he was enraged. He became even more upset when he noticed police hiding in trees and bushes outside his window. Stephen attacked Jennifer with rage and fury, choking her to death while sexually assaulting her. Joshua checked on Bill in the basement as Stephen assaulted and killed his wife. When Joshua saw Bill was no longer in the basement, he must have been shocked. Neighbors lined the streets when they saw police officers parked outside the Pettit family's home. Seeing an army personnel crawling across his lawn, a neighbor got scared. He had no idea what it was. Eventually, the figure on the ground spoke. It was Bill, and he told his neighbor the girls were still inside. Using cans Stephen had previously filled, Joshua covered Jennifer's body as well as Hayley and Michaela, who were still alive. When Joshua and Stephen killed Jennifer and prepared to murder her daughter, police were immediately present outside the house. Joshua and Stephen drove Jennifer's vehicle erratically out of the Pettit family driveway at 9:58 a.m. The car crashed around the corner. At the crash site, police officers arrested Stephen and Joshua. Once the fire was out, firefighters discovered 3 confirmed deaths inside the house. During their interrogation, Joshua and Stephen claimed the other was the mastermind. Joshua repeatedly called Michaela Kiki during the interview. Michaela was affectionately known as Kiki by her friends and family. His having the nerve to call her by that name offended everyone. On Joshua's phone, investigators found nude pictures and videos of Michaela's sexual assault. Investigators found Hayley's body near the top of the staircase in the hallway. She managed to escape the zip ties that held her, but the smoke emanating throughout the house was too much for her. Michaela died of smoke inhalation while still tied to her bed with a pillowcase covering her head. Bill survived despite extensive injuries, although his entire family perished. Stephen Hayes' trial began on September 13, 2010. A jury found him guilty 2 months later and sentenced him to death. In 2015, Connecticut abolished the death penalty, overturning Stephen's death sentence. Currently, he is serving a life sentence. Josh offered to plead guilty if the prosecution dropped the death penalty, but they refused. In May 2012, a jury found Joshua guilty and sentenced him to death, but his execution was postponed because of appeals. As the state abolished the death penalty, Joshua's sentence was commuted to prison. Bill has since remarried and established a foundation to pay tribute to his murdered family. In memory of Jennifer, Hayley, and Michaela, the Pettit Family Foundation raises funds to distribute to causes that honor their memory. Hayley's Hope Walking Group is still active, and Michaela's uncle built a memorial garden to commemorate his niece. While he cannot bring his family back, Bill continues to live a life honoring their memory. So there you have it. What do you think the true motive for the murders was? Was Joshua truly looking to steal from the family, or was he there because Michaela caught his attention? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video fascinating, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more awesome stories. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in the next video.